Well, welcome back, my YouTubers, for all my 7th grade students that are definitely getting into next week's topic. So, next week's topic is going to be Introduction to Graphing Inequalities. So for the last 3.5 to 4 weeks now, actually even 5 after Christmas break, we've been studying equations. And of course, we've learned how to evaluate expressions, solve an equation, isolate variables, combine like terms, and of course, here's all the vocabulary that's in our classroom. What we're going to get into next Monday, on February the 12th, is graphing inequalities. Inequalities are things that are not equal. So let's give us some examples, okay? This is going to be a short video on an introduction. We have something here that says m is greater than -2. Now maybe when you were in elementary school, your teacher used to say, the mouth wants to eat the bigger thing. And of course they would say this mouth is a crocodile, or they would say this mouth is a Pac-Man, and they would say nom 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 nom. Okay, since the m right here is being eaten by this mouth, and of course your teacher would maybe draw some kind of shape right there to let you know that m is greater than -2. Well, we're not going to draw any shapes like that anymore because you guys aren't in elementary school. But we definitely want you to understand that m is any number that's greater than -2. See, as long as m is any number greater than -2, we need to know what numbers those are. Well, isn't 4 greater than -2? Of course it is. Isn't 3 greater than -2? Of course it is. Well, can m actually be -2? No. This sentence says because of this inequality that m has to be any number greater than -2. So we're going to color in all the numbers up to the arrow tip of this plus sign. So we always color in all the way up to the arrow tip, and we have to show on this diagram that m is any number greater than -2. Well, how do I show that m can't be equal to -2? Well, what I do is I actually put an open circle right here. And I color all the way up to that open circle, and I color everything on the right side of that open circle right there where -2 is. I have to shade in everything that's a number that's greater than -2. Well, let's take a look at this inequality. This mouth is actually facing towards the -2. Well, then that means that the -2 is bigger than the m is. This m is a number. This letter m is any number that isn't greater than -2. It's smaller than -2. But what about this little equal sign underneath this? What about this half of an equal sign? Well, this means that m is any number less than or equal to -2. So if any number that is less than -2 or it's equal to -2, I have to show this on this diagram what that means. Well, give me some numbers that are less than -2 because they wouldn't be 3 or 2 or 1. These numbers are all greater. Well, I need to go where -2 is, and I need to color in all these numbers here. On the left of it, these numbers are less than -2. But m can also be equal to -2 because that half of an equal sign underneath it, this actually means less than or equal to. Well, what I do is I still put a circle on top of -2, but this time I shade it in. I actually have to shade in that circle on top of -2. This means that m can be -2 and any number less than -2. Well, what about this one here? This says m is greater than or equal to -2. See, this says that m is any number greater than or because of this equal sign underneath it. Now, sometimes you're going to see the equal sign slanted, and sometimes you're going to see it straight. They both mean the same thing. This equal sign and this equal sign are the same thing. Some of your math teachers will use a slanted equal sign. Some of them will use a straight one. If m is any number greater than or equal to negative 2, I need to show this again on this graph, on this diagram. Once again, I put a circle on top of negative 2. Now, should I put it open or should I color it in closed? Well, if m could be any number that's greater than or equal to negative 2, I'm actually going to color it in. I'm going to color this in right there. And give me some numbers that are greater than. See, because the mouth, once again, you have to remember with that mouth, this mouth is eating the m. It's telling me that this letter m, this variable, this, if I drew a little Pac-Man, you could see right there, the mouth, no, I'm just kidding. But this wants to be eaten. So that means this variable m is actually greater than the negative 2. So give me some numbers that are greater than negative 2. Well, 3 is greater. That's bigger than negative 2. 2, positive 2 is greater than negative 2. So I need to color in I need to shade in all of these numbers, and I shade them up all the way to the arrow tip. Well, here's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to pause this video for a second after I give you another problem, a fourth one. What if I go ahead and write down this? M with this inequality, and I still use negative 2. If I'm going to go ahead and draw myself a graph on this number line where 0's in the middle, negative 1, negative 2, and all the negative numbers are on the left. Positive 1, positive 2, and all the positive numbers are on the right of 0. What do you think this graph should look like? Pause the video right now and draw yourself a quick little paper on a scratch paper and see if you can graph this inequality. Remember to either color in the circle or leave it open. Shade in which side m can be, all the way up to the arrow tip. I'll wait for you to pause the video right now, and then I'll go ahead and show you the answer. Press pause now. Okay, so hopefully you pressed pause, and hopefully you drew yourself a quick answer. And now let's check your answer. So let's think about what this is saying. Once again, we see that the mouth, this inequality, if I was drawing a Pac-Man, this is saying that m is less than negative 2. See, the mouth eats the negative 2. So what this is saying is that negative 2 is greater. It's bigger than whatever number m is. So if m is smaller than negative 2, this is what m is. M is any number less than negative 2. That's what m is. Well, give me some numbers that are less than negative 2. Well, that would be negative 3, that would be negative 4, and that would be any number on the left of negative 2. So let me shade in all of these numbers up to the arrow tip on the left of negative 2. But, Mr. Gonzalez, can m be equal to negative 2? Well, did it have a small equal sign underneath it that was straight or that was slanted, like these two examples? No, it didn't. So m could not be equal to negative 2. Well, what kind of circle should I put on top of that negative 2? That's right, guys. Hopefully you drew in an open, clear circle on top of the negative 2. This is what your picture should look like for this graph right here, where m is less than negative 2. Well, this is our introduction video, and I'm really happy to go ahead and say that we're going to be starting this on Monday, February the 12th. You guys take care, and I'll see you in class tomorrow. See ya.